The football world has been rocked this week by the sad death of a former star. The Super Bowl winning safety Dave Duerson took his own life, convinced that the despair he faced was caused in part by the damage he suffered on the football field. And as Sharon Alfonsi reports, he wanted other football players to think hard about the dangers they face.
He was exceptional, a four-time Pro Bowl safety, number 22, a two-time Super Bowl champ.
Through the first four. This one's for Giles, intercepted by Duerson.
Teammates say Dave Duerson was also exceptionally smart and kind, which is why they were shocked when last week the 50-year-old killed himself with a gunshot to the chest.
Dave Duerson, born November 28, 1960 in Muncie, Indiana. He started his NFL career in 1983, playing for the Chicago Bears. He was drafted 64th overall in the 1983 NFL Draft as a safety. Dave Duerson played for three different teams, including the Chicago Bears, New York Giants, and the Arizona Cardinals. He spent most of his career with the Bears. During his career, he won the 1985 Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears as a starting safety. Dave Duerson in the year of 1985 had 5 interceptions. He was definitely one of the crucial parts of the Bears' defense. Playing safety was not an easy position. He would take some brutal hits to the head and body. The rules when he played were not meant to protect the players. Back then, you were allowed to hit people above the shoulders. Dave Duerson was most of the time tackling with his helmet because he was a safety. By him doing this, most people back then did not realize the amount of damage he was doing to his brain. After having all of his head injuries and concussions, Dave started to feel tremendous pain. Not pain that you can keep fighting against, but pain that he could not live with anymore. Dave Duerson would wake up in the morning and not even remember his wife or kids' names. Sometimes he couldn't even remember what room he was in. Once he decided that he couldn't live with this anymore, he wrote a note saying that he wanted to donate his brain to the NFL's brain bank to be studied. He died on February 17, 2011 in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. He didn't shoot himself in the head because he wanted to preserve his brain, so he shot himself in the chest. His brain ended up at Boston University to be studied. Unsurprisingly, they found that he had chronic traumatic encephalopathy, otherwise known as CTE. CTE is a brain condition associated with repeated blows to the head. Having CTE can lead to dementia, which having dementia leads to memory disorders, personality changes, and impaired reasoning. The NFL saw how tragic Dave's death was and realized that something needed to be done so that players would not get hurt as often as they were back then.
Duerson asked his brain be examined for chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a degenerative disease often found in those with a history of concussions.
Football players are at a very high risk because they take, studies show, about 1,000 hits to the head each fall. At least 20 Gs, which is like a small car crash. So essentially your brain actually starts falling apart. 10 or 20 years later, you start getting symptoms like memory problems and emotional problems, and they eventually lead to dementia.
The NFL made it so that you could not hit another player above the shoulders, and if you did, you would get a personal foul, which is 15 yards. The NFL is also starting to implement newer technology into helmets after Dave's death, so that players' heads are safer. This has already had an impact on the amount of CTE in the NFL. While some people believe that the NFL has done a lot to minimize head injuries, others believe that even though they have made steps to improve brain safety, they still haven't done nearly enough. Some former players have even said they don't want their kids to play in the NFL like they did because of the pain they had to go through and the pain they still have today. Scientists are constantly researching new ways to make the game safer so that players can't get CTE and experience the tremendous pain that Dave Duerson had to go through. Scientists think it was a very smart idea of Dave Duerson to donate his brain, because now scientists and the NFL have a better understanding around CTE and what is happening to these NFL players.
And there is so much to learn. The NFL only recently started investigating the impact of football on the brain after years of denying any problems, donating $1 million to the CTE Center at Boston University, where Duerson's brain will be examined.
And this will no doubt stir a lot more investigation. Okay, Sharon, thanks very much.